So 2 weeks after I placed the order for the Parajet Maverick, good news. It's arriving Monday. No, I guess it's not arriving Monday. Apparently there's a little delay in security screening. And new delivery date, that's no big deal. Wednesday. So it's arriving 2 days later. Yeah, they confirmed it 2 days later. No, I guess it's not. Another security screening and it's been delayed again. So now I have a new update on Friday. I'm starting to get a little suspicious, but no, it's confirmed Friday by the end of the day. But then I noticed that the package is still in England as of May 1st. So, well, aircraft's really fast. They can fly quickly. And sure enough, it's in Philadelphia. No, it's in Louisville, Kentucky. No, it's back in Philadelphia. Well, they're pretty close together. Maybe they just ran it over to Kentucky and came back. Anyway, we'll see. So this is where the paramotor will be when it eventually arrives. But until then, I thought it might be interesting to just go over all the paramotors I've already had. They've all been kind of fun to deal with, from the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if you're interested in that, it's coming up right now. If not, I'll put a timestamp below where you can just fast forward to where I get into the Parajet Maverick. My very first paramotor was the proposed Titan EOS 100. Purchased this January 2016. Short story, didn't work out. A lot of problems. It's been a little while, and just like the Top 80 had its problems in the beginning, I'm sure this paramotor, which is still being sold, has been greatly improved. So don't discount it if you're looking for one. Next, in March of 2016, I purchased the mini plane Top 80. A really nice paramotor. I really enjoyed flying it. The limitations being the weight. If you're over 180, 190, you're really getting to the limits of this paramotor, and also will depend on the altitude you fly from. Really enjoyed flying the mini plane. Top 80 is a great engine. Unfortunately, the mini plane frame was damaged when it fell off my carrier at the Salton Sea, so I thought I'd try something a little different. I got the Kangook frame, which is very modular and adaptable to different engines. So the Top 80 engine was running just fine. So put it on the Kangook, and really a nice frame. I also had the APCO split leg harness, very lightweight, pretty easy to get in and out of it, very comfortable, but didn't give me as much weight shift authority as I thought it would. Overall, I really like this paramotor, and to this day, I really wish I kept it as a backup. Next, and most recently, the Nirvana F-Lite NS160. Very sleek, very modern design. Has those twist air struts to help against torque. Very lightweight, easy to put on your back. A lot of things I loved about it. That harness, just like a backpack, was really nice, keeping that weight off your shoulders. Electric start, easy to start. But some real negatives for me. That back really vibrated a lot, needed a padding to cancel that out. Not as comfortable in the long distance, though very maneuverable in the air. And yes, those engine outs. Had a few of them, had me rethinking the whole purchase. Obviously, it did go back to the dealer and brought me to where I am right now, just waiting for that next paramotor to arrive. Okay, just got home. UPS said that they had delivered the Parajet, and I think that's a dead giveaway. So the Parajet arrived safely and boxed up nicely, and inside was this very nice padded storage case. Velcro along the sides and the front, as well as some clips. Inside was really packaged and padded very well with a lot of cardboard. The padded case is additional. It doesn't come standard, but even though I'll be transporting it assembled in my van, I decided I'd like to do some traveling, maybe go down to Mexico. So it'd be nice just to store it away out of sight.
Okay, let me show you everything that came with the Parajet. First of all, really nice t-shirt, really nice color. I like it. Just perfect for me. Obviously, let everybody know you fly Parajet. Some of the manuals from Maverick, Atom. That's a CD-ROM, which I don't have in my computer anymore, but I do have a USB that they included, so I imagine I'll have the same information. Technical data on the Atom 80, decals. I've moved through everything to put together the hoop and the frame. We've got the props, and this is a 125 props with the Atom 80 written right on the prop. I had a friend who got the Parajet Maverick and he had the wrong props, but they promptly sent me the right props. We have prop cover, as well as storing the props. Cage. That's going to be really interesting. I hear that the cage is a little difficult to put on at first, but then gets quite pliable with use. The reducer, the prop, that's got to go on, and also adding the gear oil right here. We have the spark plug, and it looks like they already did a bit of a run-up, because obviously it's been used, and I think I understood that. They go through and make sure that it's running okay. So we'll obviously check that spark plug after each use in the beginning to make sure we're running it just right. Tools, quite an array of tools. Spark plug wrench. There's the USB. I imagine it has the technical data on the Atom, or perhaps it's just the Maverick frame. I'll have to see. I haven't used that. The bolts put on the prop reducer. Prop bolts. Some open and close end wrenches. There's a gas siphon, a pouch for the tools. Looks like a nice little bag to wear. And they want you to go crazy with the decals. So there's a lot of those. So that's pretty much everything that comes with the Parajet. And this is where our prop reducer is going to go. We're going to bolt that on. And they have the torque measurements for all these bolts. So good to have a torque tool because you really need it.
Despite how this looks, it really is quite light on my back. Pretty easy to get up. Feels good. Very comfortable. I've already done my full run-up a day or two before this, but I've been running it on the ground just to get some time before I can get up in the air. And a friend of mine has been taking these videos.
Feel the return on the carburetor. It's nice that this thing's so easy to grab. All right. There, prop. I need to pour gas in there.
After the initial break-in period, you're only supposed to run no more than 30 minutes at a time and just do a gradual acceleration and deacceleration. You don't want to keep it full power for very long. And again, you just want to be very gradual, gentle with it. So that's basically what I've been doing on the ground until I can get up in the air. And after the first 5 hours of engine runtime, you can then go crazy.
So here's the Parajet Maverick Atom 80. Fully assembled. I've actually done the full engine run-up. Glad I don't have to do that every week. Anyway, it just takes a little while, about 2 hours total. There is some breaks in between for 15 minutes. You got to cycle through 4 times. Seemed to do just great. I did find that in starting this particular engine, I have to have just a slight amount of throttle when I pull on the pull start. It makes a huge difference. No throttle at all. It's a little bit more difficult starting it. With a touch of throttle, it's right up. So, and they do say that in the manual, so that's not something that's surprising. Again, it's just something you got to get used to with each engine. But pretty easy, really easy to use the fuel bulb here. You can see where it goes in. Here's your pressure relief on the carb to allow the fuel to flow. Everything so far has been, I would say, 97% outstanding. And the 3% are just little naggy things, nothing critical. It's a beautiful machine. The Atom 80 so far has done really well. No oil leakages that I could see. Really sparing on the fuel. I put in 2 gallons. I've been running it. I still have 4 liters left, which is about a gallon. Harness, this is the small, medium harness. And I'm 6 feet, but I don't have an overly long torso, so it was recommended I get the small, medium. The only difference is the length, or I guess the height of the seat to the harness. So if you have a long torso, you need the large, extra large. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter how tall you are so much, is what is your length of your torso. Obviously, if you're really tall, you're going to want the large, extra large. But even at the Salton Sea, the Colorado Paramotor rep there, he's about 6'1", bigger than me, and he does the small, medium. So there you go. And so far, it seems to be working quite well. So, what do I really like? Okay, the pull start here, really easy to get to in flight. Very easy to get to in flight. I can just reach back, there it is. And that's not always the case with a lot of the other paramotors I've had, except of course if you have electric start. The harness, very comfortable. One thing I noticed here, this is interesting, is, well, it's not interesting because it is, it's a wooden seatboard. And I wonder if a carbon seatboard, one would reduce weight and also just be just as comfortable, because obviously there's a lot of padding there. A little more expense, but if you had that means, you might want to put a carbon seatboard there. Anyway, if anybody's done that, let me know. The Polini throttle, much like the one I had on my mini plane, so I'm very used to this. There's a Vitarazi throttle that I've used too that I liked, but I do like this. I can use it just with my fingertips right on the edge there. I've known some people that have cut this portion back here. They've cut it back, but I like it right there. So left-hand throttle, of course. I put a mirror simply for a fuel gauge, so to speak. In other words, do I have any fuel left? So that makes it real easy. I also have the gauges through here. This is kind of like a Fly Henry through Sky Sports USA. I have no affiliation with them other than they're really great to deal with. Super responsive, let you know when the order has shipped, and been really good. And so this is their multifunctional monitor. It does RPMs, it does total hours, it does per flight. It also does the engine temps, which you will need in order to do your run-up, as well as your RPMs. So definitely need the RPMs. So that has worked very well. I did find that the temperature gauge that goes on the spark plug is a little bit fragile. I had it coming out here at an angle, and that didn't work too well. It vibrated, it came loose, and so I had to get a new monitor. That was pretty much how I positioned it. So now I realize I'm going to have to make a little opening right here for it to come out a little more directly. Should be no problem, but I learned that the hard way. All right, other things I really like about it, other than it goes together very well, it is tight. So having a little soft mallet to kind of encourage things is helpful. If you take it on and off a lot, that will, I'm sure, will get a lot easier. They weren't kidding in that the cage netting is a little bit tricky getting it on here. It's pretty stiff in the beginning. As you go around, it gets a lot easier, and then back to the other foot section there gets a little tricky. Not hard, just got to kind of work it. Now I understand too, as you take this on and off, it gets a lot easier. One of the things I found is that it scratches really easily. You probably can't see this because I cleverly used some blue Sharpie to cover up some of the scrapes. You'll get these white scrapes here that it basically just takes the finish off. And so be careful. Again, it's just going to wear and tear, nothing bad, other than if you just want to keep it looking pretty. A lot of padding in the seat, shoulder straps, and the seat, and the backing. My last paramotor, it was like a vibro massage. This was so nice. I never even thought about it. I never even thought about any vibration. It was just smooth. So I had to think about it. Go, oh yeah, this is really smooth on my back. This is great. Obviously, it's an Atom 80, not a huge amount of torque because it's only an 80cc motor, much like the Top 80. More than enough power for me. I fly pretty much near sea level. I'm about 165. The cage netting tightens up very well. It uses this nice little ratchet system. The other thing I did, if you can see, is that I put the secure line around this back post onto the area to secure that right there, rather than going straight from here to here. If you do that, it will hit. As you can see, it doesn't hit, but if that went straight over, that would hit. I picked that up again from the, don't know where I picked that up. I think it was from the guy at Salton Sea, the dealer there, the Colorado dealer. May have picked that up online somewhere. Makes sense. I had that problem in a previous paramotor. I had to put something on the netting because it kept hitting and was starting to fray, even just a few hours. So, works just fine. And this little ratchet system works great. Keeps it pretty taut. Again, I do not start the paramotor on the ground, so I don't even think about it. I don't want this netting to be used to protect me starting this on the ground. It only just helps if something wants to fly in that general direction while I'm sitting there. This is really easy to start on your back, so my advice, don't start them on the ground. On my hang test, and I'll find out with my first flight, I really have this on the original setting. It came like this. This is actually supposed to be for a heavier pilot. But on my hang test, it seemed to be perfect. And I think Tucker on his flying also noticed that he had to send it, he had to put this more forward. And he's I think a little shorter than me. I don't know what he weighs, but he found that too. So perhaps, again, those are just guidelines in the manual. I'm going to keep it right where they sent it and see how that works for me. You also notice they have a side reserve pouch here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that. I mean, it's really convenient, so I just might keep that. I usually have used a front reserve, but because that's so nicely placed, I may just keep it. I just need to get a newer reserve. So I have that on order. Haven't received one yet. And it also has a nice little area here for storage, which is very nice. And underneath here, they also have some storage. Okay, how about the things that are a little bit annoying? And again, just naggy little things. Has to do more with quality control. On my prop bolts here, you can see that one of them is a little different. It's more of a oxide, darker finish. These are steel. Well, they sent me 5 of the proper bolts. Then one of them was very long and actually protruded. So it wasn't touching. It could work, but it just looked kind of funky. And I said, well, maybe I need the proper bolt size. I did contact Parajet USA and Parajet International, and they both said, oops, sorry about that. Again, you can actually get the same bolt at a good hardware store. Same quality, same number stamped on the end there. I think it's 12.9. Has to do with the type of bolt. I had a friend who's received all the long bolts. He thought that was normal. And again, you can use it. They just stick out. And it's not going to hit, but it kind of makes you a little nervous. Okay, what else was a little annoying and a little disappointing. This is more of Dudex. You could see here, this is the ring that pulls out. This ring pulls out right here. It is torn away. Actually, it was like that when I received it. I saw it and I went, oh, look at that. I don't think the stitching caught. Here it's okay. I think they just missed the stitching right here. And this ring secures the harness right into here. So it's just a way of securing the harness. It's not a critical aspect of the seat, but obviously that could get worse. So I did contact Parajet USA again. They apologized. I contacted Parajet International, and they have offered, obviously, to send me a new harness, which is great. I don't know about the shipping, and so sending this harness back to Great Britain or United Kingdom could be kind of pricey. Now, I may just send it to Parajet USA. I've asked them about that, and I say, are they going to take care of all the shipping? Because obviously that's very expensive. I could actually repair that. I could get I have some nylon swedged on thread that would work, but we'll see. We'll see if Parajet says. I haven't heard back on the shipping issues yet. But anyway, again, they apologized, said, oops, really sorry. Actually, they were quite responsive, so that was a good thing. As long as they communicate, I'm fine. Things happen. And they offer to make good on it. We'll just see about the shipping. The manual is pretty complete. The Vitarazi engine manual details everything. Obviously, there's a little bit of translation. I would say, yeah, the English is not perfect, but you get the message, all right? It's easy to understand, translated from Italian. With the Maverick manual, it's mostly illustrations, just drawing illustrations. It would be really nice to have some really nice photographs. The other thing I think would be great is for an official Parajet video that takes you through everything. I was a little unclear of how this attached. I had to go through some YouTube videos that were out there to make sure I had it right. This makes sense, but I wanted to make sure I had it correctly. So again, the illustration, it's hard to get, it was hard for me to get the orientation of how to put that in, but that just may be me, and I'm a little slow. Okay, there's the Maverick in the van. Fits in there really nice. Just enough play so it doesn't vibrate itself into pieces, but in there pretty secure. So I didn't do a assembly video per se. There seems like there's a really good one from Aviator PBG, and a few other people have done it. So really wanted to just concentrate on the final product, how the engine ran up, anything that kind of bugged me about it, anything I didn't like. And again, 97%, 97 plus, it's really nice. Everybody has heard that the fit and finish on the Parajet is really nice, and I have to agree. Again, I don't want to come across as a Parajet fanboy here. I've had some nice paramotors, I've had some really crappy ones, and some in between that I've flown, but this is very nice. I'm really looking forward to getting it in the air. The Atom 80 has performed very nice so far. Seems very smooth, quiet engine on idle, really with my helmet on and the earmuffs, I can hardly even hear it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll post a video when I get up in the air, hopefully this weekend. If the weather just cooperates a little bit, it should be nice. Thanks a lot.
Okay, a couple of updates. So I've been running my engine a few times since the initial break-in, and I've learned that it takes very little priming at all. If I just give the primer bulb a stern look, I think that's all it takes. It pretty much just needs a fraction of a second and starts first pull every time. So really nice. I did weigh the Maverick empty, no gas, but it did have the gear oil, 46.5 pounds. Well, maybe no big surprise that it was advertised at 43, so it's a bit off. Seems to be a standard in the industry that you have no idea what it's really going to weigh, but it feels great on my back. It feels light, maneuverable, And that's what's really important. And lastly, Parajet did send out that new harness. Only a week from the time they told me they'd send it out, it arrived, I've switched it out, and it looks perfect. So thanks, Parajet, and good on you. I really appreciate the good service.